just crunch, where you really had to look inside yourself for information and learn. And I was so moved by that experience. It was really very profound experience for me, and I learned a lot while I was there. A few years later, after I retired, I was asked to be a victim advocate, or to serve as a victim advocate at an event that was going on at 44th Med. At 44th Med at the time, there was a gentleman who helped. We're going to talk about
Ben Staple. Ben Staple was with Theater Delta in Chapel Hill. Ben Staple.
Okay, Ben Staple. And this group of soldiers, he worked with this group of soldiers, they put on a production, and at that time, I want to say it was about suicide prevention. They did suicide prevention, sexual assault, different classes, and actually it was the sexual assault class, if I recall. And, but they would do a drama, and after that drama, they would open it up to the group that observed what took place. And this is what the experiential process does, basically. Everyone goes through the same experience, and then you discuss it. So it's no lecturing or anything like that that's taking place. And basically, I think the understanding or the belief is that you've got that knowledge. You just need a facilitator to kind of help draw it out of the group. And by doing that, you hold on to it. It's much more profound experience. So, very different from PowerPoint. All right. So anyway, after I saw that, I was just blown away that the soldiers were doing it. And I haven't really seen it since. I know that there has been some a little bit that's gone on, but we've asked Dr. Hewett to come here today to show how this works, this interactive theater, and which again reminds me very much of this process that I experienced before. So Dr. Michael Hewett has attained a distinguished career as a result of 25 plus years of diverse professional experience and academic training. His career path includes being a successful psychotherapist, college professor, graduate school practicum instructor, and researcher. Michael is currently involved in researching and developing innovative new strategies and methodologies to effectively address community mental health issues. So it's with great pleasure to introduce Dr. Hewett.
Hey, thanks, guys. And so, this is kind of a reunion for me with you guys. I mean, I was with the Insight program too, so that's kind of my hat. So I came up here to Charleston. I drove up here to Charleston to get a chance to meet you guys and to kind of give you an experience of what interactive theater is. And today you will see the world first performance of Downfall, an interactive theater piece that I wrote particularly for this event. Okay, so Chris was telling us how interactive theater differs from regular theater. Well, it's interactive. So we're going to do this in 3 parts. You're going to witness a dramatic scene, and you're going to meet five of our characters. You're going to meet Brian and Paige. You're going to meet Thomas and Sarah, and you're going to meet Fred. And they're going to present to you a realistic vignette. And after we do the performance, now this is different than if you'd see a play, you're going to have a chance to directly talk to and ask these characters. They're going to come back here in part, still in their character, and we want you to engage them and ask them questions about what you saw, why they did this or why didn't they do this. This is your chance to directly engage them and get your responses to. So I want you to think about the kind of questions you want to ask them as you're seeing this, and maybe take some notes. I'd ask you to take some notes so you have that there for you. Okay, and then after we're finished done doing that, we're going to have a final discussion. The characters will be gone. We'll just kind of talk about some of the themes that we saw and some of the issues that were presented at CMA. So this is a great audience. We've got kind of a collection of professionals, of soldiers here. So I'm really expecting a lot of interesting kind of input as you guys kind of reflect on your own careers, your own experience, and this own issue. So what are the rules in something like this? Well, the first thing, typically, like any kind of theater piece, is consideration. We got our phones in our pockets, we're not staring at them, and we got them on buzz, we're not, distracted by our phone stuff, right? The second thing is respect. That we respect our voice, and what we see and how we feel about what we just saw based on our own experience, and we respect somebody else's that we may disagree with, but we're still going to give them what we call the benefit of the doubt. That's their experience, that's their perspective, and that's mine. And we're going to kind of share them respectfully together. Does that make sense? And the last thing is self-care. Physical assault, physical abuse is a difficult topic. And some of you professionals, some of you are on the front line, it's what you do professionally, but it's difficult material. And this performance is realistic. We're going to make some edgy kinds of scenes in here. And, you know, we all have our own backgrounds. Something may get triggered off for you, a memory or a feeling or a friend or something like that, or your own life experience. And then, you know, you need to deal with that in the way that you want to deal with it. For some of us, it may be afterwards standing up and talking. Boy, that reminded me of this experience, and I'm going to share it with you guys. And, you know, this is what I saw, and this is how it was different. Boy, I understand something differently now. That's one option. One option is to stand up and walk out. You know, if it's just too much, something's going on for you, just go and take a break. We're going to have a couple of short breaks here. But, you know, if something's uncomfortable, please do that. Take a break. That's absolutely reasonable. And we have some inflex here, some other people here that are available to kind of sit and talk with you, okay? So that's a part of the experience, too, is that you reflect on this experience, your own experience, and self-care. So this is interactive, so we need to get interactive right away. I want everybody to stand up. This is not a passive audience. You people are a part of this performance, okay? Now, typically this is called the thumb exercise, but I think when SOCOM was developing itself, that this is an exercise of coordination and the ability to capture. So I want you to take your left palm and turn it forward up to the sky. And your right hand, I want you to make a fist and put a thumb down. So your thumb should be in your neighbor's palm. Your thumb should be in that's right, in your neighbor's palm. Okay, all right. So now this is to see how well you guys follow instructions, even though we're all adults here, right? I'm going to count to 3. And your mission is to capture that thumb and escape with your thumb, okay? All right? Now, so there we go, jump in the gun. See, that's showing me issues of control, issues of, you know, like, you know, it's all right. 1, 2, 3. All right, reset, try it again, try it again. Let's try it again, let's try it again. Let's just say the other guy got lucky that time. We're going to do 3 rounds this way, then you're going to get a chance for revenge the other way. Okay, here we go. 1, 1.5, 2, 3. Okay, one more time, we'll do it this part. Okay, reverse it. So this hand goes, this is like this and this is this, okay? Now this is where you get that you show that person who got you. All right. Let's have concentration, please. This is important. 1, 2, 3. All right, 2 more times. On your mark. 1.
I grabbed yours last time.
2, 3. Okay, it's final time. I promise, final time.
Good job.
All right, you're doing pretty good. This is a pretty good group. It's pretty good coordination here. I've seen better, I've seen worse. 1, 2, 3. All right, have a seat, okay. Okay, so here we go. Let's begin right now, and this scene is going to be called Downfall.
Sarah, yeah, it's me. Can you come over right now? No, something just happened. I'm really scared. No, nothing. I'm not hurt badly yet, but it's Brian. He's been drinking, and I think he's getting ready to do something serious to me.
2 months earlier.
Oh, right! Man, that last mission.
Yeah.
Yo, I mean, it went well, but just the trip, just trying to get back, I just wish it was a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, things went pretty smoothly for ODA, except, you know, once again, losing the medic to an injury, and the guy who plays him seems like it could be a real issue. And this was my 6th trip, man. I'm ready to get on and do something else, man.
Yeah, 6 a lot, man. What you got in mind, though?
I was actually considering graduate school. I heard Duke has a pretty great MBA program.
Dude, that's what's up.
Yeah.
You talked to Paige about it?
No, not really. I just don't think she's really going to be supportive of the whole idea, and the loss of income involved. Buddying is already a sore spot between us.
Right. We talked about it before. Yo, again, man, these missions, I can feel your frustration. I mean, this last one, it was our chain of command. Up in Germany, wouldn't let us do what we were supposed to do. You know how they are.
Yeah.
They didn't tell us anything. Probably some politics or something.
That's what it was.
But, you know, what good are we there if they're not going to let us do what we're supposed to do?
Exactly.
So, anyway, come to the team party on Friday?
I don't know, man. I'm a little too old and a married guy to do that sort of thing. You guys are all out there.
Married stuff, man, come on. Look, consider it like bro time. It's going to be a good time. Sergeant Sanchez got some Cuban cigars. He's going to share those. Man, it's like a special occasion for all the shit we just went through.
All right. Where's it going to be held this time?
So, it's going to be at Sparky's place. And Sparky's going to be on the grill, the Southern barbecue.
Yeah.
And between me and you, I'm going to take like 3 plates.
All right, you bring your little girlfriend along?
Talking about ride or die? Sarah?
Yeah.
Of course.
I gotta say, you made a much better choice with this one than the last few I've seen you with. I didn't talk about the guy that's been married 3 times for the age of 25.
I'm going to bring that up.
You know, Sarah seems a lot more emotionally stable and grounded than the last few I've seen you with. It's like Paige and I've already become the bestest of friends. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's the same old story, man. I mean, those last chicks, I mean, they were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of fun. But when they would get down, I just couldn't deal with it.
Right.
And I talked to a doc about it. Doc said it sounded like they had some type of bipolar disorder.
It's got
And I never really thought about it, but it kind of made sense, you know, later on. But yeah, Sarah, she's way different. Much cooler.
See you then, man.
All right, man.
Sounds good. You too.
What's up, man?
Hey, how's it
You
going?
made it. I thought you were going to stand me up.
Man,
Calm
not
down,
this
man.
time, no.
Hey, man. It's been really good. They got crab in the back.
Oh, really?
Sergeant Simmons got a bottle of bourbon we're going to talk to later on. So, hey, glad you made it, man.
I like staying up this time.
Every time we have one of these events, y'all two stand around like old mother hen, just gossip.
Sorry.
Hey, Sergeant Major, could I ask you a question real quick?
Sure, what you got, right?
So it's concerning Sergeant Andrews and his conduct during the last mission that some of our guys had some pretty serious concerns with. What's all that about?
Andrews had some discipline and work ethic problem. In fact, he turned out to be a dirtbag. And we had to remove him from the team. But what I want you to know is, because of our standing in this community, whenever we have a problem, we need to try to keep that in-house and handle it ourselves. So if you have any issues in the future, you come see me and let me fix it.
Roger that.
And so we keep all this stuff on our turn.
Roger that.
Okay?
Paige, I'm just so happy that you made it out here. You know that this is my first team party and everything, and I was really nervous because of the fact that I've heard so many stories. But I'm just really lucky that I met you because you've been my best friend and a source of support with dealing with everything.
Sure, Sarah. No, I'm glad we got connected. You know, you've always been there for me too. But there's something I want to tell you. There is a lot of drama surrounding these guys. I mean, I've heard stories about them having other girlfriends while they're overseas on a mission, leading a separate life with another family while they're on TDY.
No way. Really?
I've heard it all.
Three weeks later.
sleeping. What's wrong with you?
Where are the girls at?
Where do you think they are? Sleeping? They went to bed an hour ago. Remember, it's a school night?
Stop giving me shit. I'm asking you a simple question.
It's past 11, and you didn't call me like you promised you would when you know you're going to be late. This is the third time this week. I mean, all you got to do is pick up your phone. Obviously, my feelings aren't that important to you. Are you seeing someone else?
Let's not go over that again. Summer Cummings found out that he was having a promotion, so we stopped by for a couple of beers. And you're asking me what I'm doing? Guess what I'm doing? I'm making the fucking money. You don't seem to have any trouble spending it. What are you doing with your money? Hello? You gonna answer me?
Ow!
You're not listening to me. Answer the
Ow!
question.
Once in a while, I like to do something for myself and have a good time. You know, you're just too busy at work or hanging out with your friends or doing whatever you do. So buying a new dress or going out for girls' night out keeps me sane.
I just seen the credit card statement, and it says you spent $200 for concert tickets in Raleigh for 2 weeks. What the fuck was that about?
I'm sorry. I forgot to mention that to you. That's the girls' night out thing I was telling you about. This is my self-care. What is wrong with you? I'm your wife.
Unfortunately.
You're a pig. I'm not talking to you anymore about anything.
Don't disrespect
Ow!
me like that again. I don't speak too loudly. Don't
Ow!
let this penis next to you.
Ow! See what you just did? Oh, you're so mean when you get off work. You know? You just used to tell me stories about how your old man would take it out on you after he's been drinking. Well, it looks like the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree.
I need to get some sleep. You know my schedule. I have to get here by 0500 in the morning. I'll sleep on the sofa tonight.
Yeah, you're certainly not sleeping with me. Hey, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi. I thought I would just drop this dish off that I
Sure.
borrowed from you.
Thank you. It's really not a big deal. Did the recipe work out?
Yeah, I've been experimenting with vegetarian dishes. The girls really seem to like it.
How are you doing? I mean, is everything okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been busy. I'm fine.
Wait, are those bruises on your arm?
Yeah. No. I was carrying groceries up the steps, and I slipped as I was trying to hold open the front door. I'm so clumsy sometimes, but listen, I gotta go. I wanted to drop the dish off for you. I gotta pick Sam up from practice.
Oh, I'll see you later. Okay, I'll see you later.
Hey, what's up, babe?
Hey, hon. So earlier today, I met with Paige. Yeah. It was really weird. She seemed really distressed. And then I noticed 2 bruises on her arms. And then when I try and talk to her about it, she's hesitant. She comes up with some story about tripping upstairs while carrying groceries.
Yeah, so what?
I don't know. Something just didn't seem right. She just seemed really off and sad and even quiet. Now she's avoiding my phone calls. I think it's a good idea that you talk to her husband.
Okay. But you gotta understand, Sergeant Wright is kind of the man. His reputation in our community is impeccable.
Sure. Whatever, just please know it's important to me.
All right. Well, tomorrow night after work, we're going to get some beers. I'll talk to him then.
Thank you.
It's good to finally get some time to get together, huh? How's your day been?
Yeah. It was okay. How you been though? You seem a bit stressed lately, just a little different.
No major problems. Well, maybe. As I said before, man, I gotta make a career move. I just can't stand the mountain of paperwork piling up at my desk every day. It's just stressing me out.
Yeah, I get that about paperwork. But I'm talking about you and Paige. We talked about that a lot. Just tell me about your marriage and everything. How's that going?
It's the usual disrespect of my authority. Nothing much has changed there.
You know, Paige was at our place yesterday, and Sarah said that she noticed some bruises on her arms. What do you know about that?
And she tripped on that rug that we have in the hallway. I mean, it's happened before. Probably replace it. But seriously, man, there's nothing for you to be worried about. Nothing to be concerned about, I swear.
You know, that's interesting because Sarah said that Paige said that she got him carrying groceries up the stairs. Those two stories don't add up, bro. Why is that?
It's no big deal, really. Who knows how she got it? That's the story that she told me. Honestly, right now I'm just trying my best to tolerate the situation.
Look, man, I'm not trying to accuse you of anything, but it does concern me when both stories don't add up. Especially since lately, you've been very distant and upset and frustrated about your marriage.
It used to be fun. I respected my leadership in our family. I'll tell you something, our marriage has lasted this long only because of the deployments I go on with you guys. It's the only place I truly feel in my comfort zone. So as much so as at this point in my career, I just can't wait to do something different. A different challenge. I still don't know how our marriage will survive without all that to fall back on.
Look, man, you know my story. The 3 divorces. I'm not saying I'm the best role model either. But at least I got out of those situations before things got too serious. I mean, true enough, it cost me some money, but I got out before things got too serious. So either A, reassure me that there's nothing to be concerned about here, or B, if there is an issue, you're going to do something about it, even if that means outside help.
You mean like counseling?
Of course. What's wrong with counseling?
I appreciate your concern, man. It's just, I don't feel comfortable with the outside professional advice about my relationship with my wife. I can't take any chances with my career right now. I just need to be firmer on her. It's worked before.
Dude, what are you talking about? Firmer with her? Look, I'm not feeling that answer at all. Look, if you don't get help on any issue, it's only going to get worse. Just think about what I'm telling you.
Okay, but listen. I had a brief chat with Sergeant Major, and he told me that Sergeant Andrews was canned off the team. Literally, that was no surprise. But what he also told me is that he wants us to utilize our own resources and not go out of our turf unless absolutely necessary. It'll look bad on all of us. Look like I can't keep my family affairs in order, like he can't do his job in command, like he can't keep his soldiers in line. I just can't have any concerns about my professionalism, or I'll be thrown off the team too. I need these missions to cope with my life right now.
Look, I get what you're saying, and I get what Sergeant Major said, but I want to come here and express my concerns for both you and Paige.
My God, man, let's just wrap this stuff up. I need to get back before there's more complaints when I'm getting home late again.
All right.
2 weeks later.
I dropped the girls off at my mom's house. They wanted to stay overnight. Why are you doing that now?
Why don't you just get it? These are my toys. These are my life. They help me when I'm feeling agitated or upset.
What do you mean? How many beers is that?
Just a few. What the fuck was all that about at dinner tonight? I'm at the head of the dinner table, serving everybody as always, when Sam, our 16-year-old daughter, says, "No, Dad, I don't want a hamburger. I don't eat meat. I'm vegan." What the fuck was all that about?
She's vegan. She made a choice. You scared her and made her cry. Ever since you've been home, she's been jumpy. She's having trouble focusing on her homework. She's distracted.
This is bullshit! Why can't I come home to a fucking normal family and have a fucking normal meal?
Ryan, calm down. You're the problem. Get over it.
I can't trust you to do your job. And it's that simple. You are the mother. You are in charge. You spend the money, you spend my money. They live in this house. Now they're basically in charge of you.
So is not. She made a decision as an older teenage kid. Why would I not allow her to make a decision about not eating meat?
You're stupid!
Oh my God.
This is what happens when I leave for mission. I can't trust you to raise these kids right.
Oh no, please stop, please stop, please, stop. Fine. If I get up, I hope you punch me, I hope you choke me, that I can go to your command and ruin your career.
Oh, listen to me. You're not listening to me.
You're hurting me.
Good. You ruined my life. And you're gonna be sorry for it. I promise.
Sarah, something just happened. I need you.
Okay, so the next part of this process and your involvement here is turn to a neighbor and let's think of some of the questions you want to ask these people, what just took place, okay? So take a few minutes, turn to a neighbor and think of some questions you want some answers for from this interaction, okay? Give you just a few minutes, okay?
I am Thomas Billings. I'm sorry, Staff Sergeant Thomas Billings.
Sergeant Major Fred Johnson.
Sergeant First Class Brian Wright.
Paige Wright.
Okay, so the way I want to do it is if you got a question, raise your hand, and then if you could stand, because once again you're kind of included in the interaction here, and have a dialogue with that character. So, who wants to start us off? Who's got a question? You, sir. Do you want to stand up and who's your question for?
Brian.
Okay.
So my question for Brian is, given kind of how your life is progressing and what you're doing in terms of with your wife, in terms of speaking with your battle buddy, in terms of speaking with your sergeant major, what do you feel like is happening to your control of your life as you do the things that you're doing?
Every time I come back from a deployment, she's always got something different. Like when we first started dating, you know, she just respected who I was and she just went along with what I said. And now she's become more defiant. She doesn't trust what I say. Everything I have to say is wrong. And we're getting out and she doesn't even take into consideration that we're getting out. She's blowing money here and there. And, you know, I feel like I can trust my team more than I can trust her. And it's getting too much.
Okay. You, sir.
Yeah. Do you notice that you're getting out of control when you're getting out of control? Like, or maybe after the incident takes place, do you go back and reflect and go, wow, I think I stepped over the line? Like, does that stuff register?
I mean, briefly, but then I think back to all the stuff that she's doing. And to me, I feel like she's causing all of this. And I want to make things work, but I don't know how. It's just, everything that I feel, it's just, I don't know how to put it into words. I just express it, and she doesn't understand what I'm trying to express, and it just goes out of proportion.
Okay, let's see. Let's have a female lady back there, and then you're our next. You want to stand?
I guess my question is for you, Brian. So when you say things like she's defiant, or do you think that's treating her more like a child or a soldier versus a spouse where you're making compromises and discussions versus you're going to listen to me?
I mean, I guess it's just, every time I think about it, I just go back to how when we met, and she listened to me, and it's just like, I feel like she doesn't want to be a part of my dream, part of what I believe, and it's just, she wants to do her own thing, and we're in this together, but, you know, she wants to go her own way now, and I don't know how to compromise. I don't know how to make that work when our dream has been the same all the time, but every time I've gone on deployment, it's a little bit less. It's a little bit not of what it used to be.
Okay, you, sir? Yes.
My question's for Thomas. So you guys had a conversation about potential abuse. I originally thought that you might have been the team leader, but it sounds like you're the team leader.
That's correct.
So at what point with your conversation with Sarah would you take that to the sergeant major or elevated through the chain to protect him, first off, to protect him and to prevent any more incidents with Paige?
I think one of the concerns for me, just as you pointed out with the difference in the rank, obviously he outranks me, but he's also a good friend of mine, and so part of this is I know his family, I know his daughters, so I kind of get concerned about making a report and taking it too far. From the conversation that he shared with me that he had Sergeant Major, it kind of made me think that Sergeant Major may be a resource, but I don't know if he was going to be necessarily the best resource. But I think if going home, letting Sarah know that I talked to him about it, I probably had some external pressure from Sarah saying, look, we got to do something else. You got to do something. And I probably would have acquiesced to what she wanted me to do. I would have probably done it that way. So it wouldn't have been something that I would have wanted to do, but because my girlfriend would have encouraged me to do it, I would have done it.
Okay, more questions? You, sir? And then you, sir?
Yeah. Sarah, you seem to be good friends. How much do you think that Paige really is being overly dramatic and kind of blowing things out of proportion?
Just based on the bruises that I saw, I thought that she actually wasn't expressing it enough. I can tell by the way, because of the close friendship that we have, I know that how she normally acts, and she's trying to hide something. So I didn't see any overacting or being dramatic.
Okay, back there, sir.
Question for Paige. Now, over the course of your marriage, have you noticed Brian's behavior following deployments, or have you noticed a change in that behavior from deployment to deployment? And then secondary to that, your own expectations in the marriage, are you conscious of any shift that's occurring there?
Well, yeah, when we first got married, it was great, and he got on a team, and he went on mission after mission, and I noticed he was, getting tight with his team, and which is expected. I knew that, he was going to get really tight and give a lot of time and attention to them. But as time went on, I feel like he made them a priority, and as much as I was respecting that, and that's his job, I could just kind of see him giving more and more. And we've got daughters, and he just kind of would stay at work, and as he went on, more missions and in more time, I just noticed he got a little more aggressive with me if I kind of, mention things like, why are you late? And he would just get really angry. I just want to know, what's going on. Seems like he's always just not hiding things, but just not who he used to be. So I just feel like I'm doing the best I can, and I want to respect his career. And at the same time, our family is just second, and his kids are second. And I'm just trying really hard. I want to be understanding, but it's been so long now, I just don't know what else to do except try to help him. I think I'm helping him. I want to help him, come back to being the man he was, the father. He's a great soldier. He is a great man. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm losing him.
Yes, sir.
Sarah, you just mentioned he's a great soldier. How's he as a husband? How's he as a father?
He's a great husband.
Expand on that. A great husband that would
He has always been there for me, but as I said, I feel like he's shifting his priorities. He's shifting a lot of the things that make us a family. So I don't know what else to do. I want to talk to someone in charge. I don't know who I would talk to. I'm afraid I'll ruin his career.
she answered my follow-up question, which was the bruising and the lashing out on his daughter wanting to speak, and
He's-
what were you doing to address those issues? I think you just answered that question. You did not.
It's really hard because that's a brotherhood. The team is a family. But my children, his children are my family. This is our family. If I go to anyone, now he looks like a dirtbag. And that's what, he's told me stories. I don't want to be a dirtbag. There's so many dirtbags, Dirtbags get kicked off the team. So I'm going to ruin his dream. I'm going to cut off my nose to spite my face. And I can't do that. I would lose everything. I would lose him. I would lose my kids. How would I support myself? I think it would just end in divorce. I feel like that's the thing that's in the back of my head. I really want to talk to someone, but from what I know, that's the worst thing I can do. Like, I'll just get him in trouble, and he'll get he'll get angrier, because the team is everything, and the mission is first.
Yes, thank you. My question is for Brian. So it kind of sounds like you have an issue with Paige developing her independence. You said that you all used to share the same vision, kind of share the same dream. With each deployment, she's left behind to maintain the house, the kids, the bills, things like that. So at what point do you realize you need to reintegrate yourself into the life that you left behind? And then I have a second question.
I don't think about it. Like, I feel like she doesn't think about the stuff that I go through when I'm on deployments and the stuff that I put out for our family to protect us and to provide for us. And then when I come back, it's like she doesn't care, like she doesn't respect that. And I just feel like I'm less of a person because she doesn't respect me for what I do and what I try to do and what I provide for the family. Like, she just spends money where we don't have money because we're trying to save. Like, she doesn't respect my authority, she doesn't respect our views, our beliefs, she doesn't respect anything that we do. It's just, everything's crumbling. I don't know how to fix it. I can't go to anybody else because I went to Sergeant Major, I brought it up to him, and he told me that, if people have issues, they just get kicked off the team. And I can't do that because I need these missions. I need this team. They're my family, they're my life. I can relate to them more than I can relate to my wife now. They understand me. She doesn't understand me. She doesn't know the stuff that I go through. And I can't just tell her because she doesn't understand. I've tried, but it's like speaking to a brick wall because she doesn't understand what I go through. She doesn't relate.
Because you're sharing different experiences, definitely because you're working and she's home doing something else. But that leads me into the fact that when you leave them behind, they have routines. They have things that they have going on while you're away doing your missions and doing work for the Army or whatever the case may be. So is it really that she's being defiant, or you don't share the same views or visions, or is it that she is now a leader too? She's left behind to lead everything just like you're a leader. So is it that she's standing beside you now and not behind you like before? And is that the problem?
I just feel like she's trying to take my place of what I had in the family. Like, I don't serve a role in our family anymore. Every time I don't want to come home because every time I do come home, I just get yelled at. And when I try to get home, it just turns into an argument. So I try to stay out, and sometimes, try to come a little bit earlier, and it's the same thing. I try to do something for her, and it just turns into an argument. I can't deal with it. That's why I hang out with the team more, because I relate to them. They don't blow up at me every time I go to say hello to them.
All right, thank you.
You, sir, and then you, ma'am, and then you, sir.
So, Paige, the question's for you. So it seems like everything that Brian says is about himself, and it's about what you're not doing. Do you feel like he's controlling towards you?
He's controlling?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to say he's in charge. He is in charge of the family, but when he's gone, I'm in charge. So it's a power struggle, and I want to give him, when he comes back, the same, he is the father of the kids. He's the head of the household. I think he wants to control me. I think he thinks like I'm like one of the team guys. sometimes. I feel like he's just like, you know, I'm gonna do this and I can do this, and I'm just constantly like, the kids, I kind of need your help. Can you be a part of this for Sam? And when it feels controlling, I try really hard to understand and to be patient, but sometimes he just gets aggressive, and the only thing I know is just to, I don't want to push back, but sometimes I push back because if I don't stand up for the kids and myself, I'm just going to be miserable, and I want to communicate with him, but I don't think there's communication anymore. I can't sit down and talk to him, so I think it's just a power struggle, and I don't understand. I really wish we weren't trying to control each other so much.
Okay, and my second question is, do you feel like he respects your role as a mother and as the wife, especially if he's outside the household, and appreciate the things you do and continue to run the house when he's not there?
I mean, I try so hard. I'm doing the best I can. I think he respects most of what I do, but like he just lately seems like, you know, like Sam and being vegan, and it's just like something that kids go through, and he just got so angry over it, and I just don't know why. I mean, I'm doing the best I can, and I know this lifestyle is, I gotta really roll with it, but I don't know what to do anymore. I'm doing my job. I'm doing the best I can, and I feel like it's not enough.
Okay, yeah.
My question is for Paige and Brian. Brian, your last response seemed like it was more about you, what she doesn't appreciate, and what she's not thinking about, and she's saying the same thing, but still praising you. Have you guys ever tried to talk to somebody together? Because it seems like a selfish thing now.
No, we haven't tried to talk to anybody together because I've tried bringing it up to my sergeant major by talking about another guy that was kicked off the team, trying to make it as my story to basically tell him about me without actually telling him about me. And he told me that he was a dirtbag for trying to get help for doing this, and I can't have that happen to me. I'm about to get out, I'm about to retire, and I can't be thrown off the team and ruin my career, ruin my reputation just over trying to talk to somebody else about something that we can handle on ourselves.
But you're saying talk to somebody else.
Somebody else, but when I talked to Sergeant Major, he says we have to stay in our own resources and we can't go out of our turf. We can't see anybody else because it's just going to look like we're dirtbags, like we can't handle our own affairs.
Okay, final question. I just have two more questions. Who was next? You, sir, and then you, ma'am. Okay.
Sarah. So, I don't know how long you and Thomas have been dating, but do you know any other spouses on the team?
I've come across some, but she's been my main support, and
Okay.
she's been my closest friend. So I would say really it's just her.
Okay, just her, so nobody other you feel confident in?
No.
Okay.
Sir, you have a question?
So, Sergeant Major, I have a question for you. And it was interesting to hear you say keep it in-house, but when you say keep it in-house, can you just define what in-house means?
Within the chain of command within the unit. We
And
don't.
do you have resources in the unit? So if you have an NCO or you have a private that's maybe struggling a little bit, that there's an in-house resource that they can go to?
Roger. The chain of command.
The chain of command?
Right, because I was.
You don't have, do you have a military family life consultant? Do you have a chaplain? Do you have an FRSA? Do you consider any of those components part of the chain of command?
Not as part of the chain of command, no. They are helping agencies, but the chain of command is the chain of command. Our job as leaders, all leaders, is to take care of soldiers and accomplish the mission. I don't condone domestic violence, but at the same time, we have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on these guys.
Yes.
We have spent hundreds of hours getting them to be where they are right now. And we can't just flush a guy because of something like this. I'm not saying it's minor, but I want them to come to me so that I can finesse it and keep him working.
Right.
and keep him
And
in
to
the
take care of
cell.
him.
Excuse me?
And that would take care of him.
It would.
Yes.
So we can't have people going outside, talking to these fat weenies, and trying to get help, and then they coming back and they leaving the team. We spend too much time, too much money.
So if you have in-house resources though, like the chaplain and like your MFLEC that are part of the team,
Right, they're used occasionally.
would you recommend that to Sergeant Wright?
Occasionally, we make referrals, occasionally. But my concern is that it leaves our community, and other people get involved, and we lose people, because the mission never stops. And it's not something I agree with, but at the same time, we gotta keep going, you know? Bottom line, gotta take care of the soldiers, but also accomplish the mission.
Okay, and I'm going to end this section by asking my own question. Okay, and I'm surprised. I kind of was expecting it from these guys, but can you answer? Did you ever get help? Did you ever make an appointment with anybody and see somebody? Did you ever make an appointment? Would you mind showing us what happened?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Is your safety. That's kind of what, dictates that. So, what brought you in today?
Well, I appreciate your information and your help, but I realize this might ruin my husband's career. So he's getting ready to retire, and finances have always been a big concern. So,
Please, I understand your concern, and it's completely up to you to share what you feel comfortable sharing, And, even if you don't want the command involved or law enforcement involved, there's still things as a victim advocate I can do to help you. I can help you with safety planning. I can help you with referrals like the legal, for legal assistance or mental health counseling for you and for your children. You've been through a lot of stress and trauma, so.
well, I'm fine, but I appreciate your time and your information. I mean, this just might make it worse. So I'll be back tomorrow, I promise.
Okay, well, absolutely. It's totally up to you. This is totally voluntary. It's totally your decision, but I want you to consider everything that we've talked about. Those brochures that I gave you too, some really good information. But before you leave, please take my card, all right? On the flip side of that card, there's a 1-800 number, and it's for a victim advocate hotline. You can call that number 24/7. Someone will pick that up, and they're there to help you. Please don't hesitate to do that.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
See you.
These people are playing some difficult characters for us, and the way we're going to release them from their roles with applause. Once again, I'll let them introduce themselves.
Sergeant Shively.
I am Eric Williams, MFLAC counselor, signed 528, as you all already know.
My name is Barry Dugan. I work in use of SOC family programs.
Specialist Raymond. I work over Bravo Company, GSB, maintenance.
Nikki Hart, I'm an actor and the artistic director at the Gilbert Theater.
Okay, so let's take 5 minutes. We're going to come back and let's reflect on this in terms of your own professional experience and your own reflections about what you saw and how it fits or doesn't fit with, your relationship with this issue. Okay. Your piece here is this is designed to turn this discussion around where you lead it instead of me. You are the experts. This is your experience. Now, I put this together by interviewing what I would call the stakeholders. In other words, I took excerpts of what people, I went to the clinical social workers in FAPA, and I said, the people you're seeing, give me a typical case. What are the issues you're seeing? What do you need to see up on stage? I got feedback from them. I got feedback from soldiers. What kind of language do you use? I got feedback from spouses. So I tried to assimilate that, as best I could in one vignette. I mean, obviously, physical assault, because of the high percentage of men, in service, it's usually frequency-wise man on man. It would not be man on woman because of the percentages. But anyway, let's open up the discussion, and I want to just kind of hear from you what came up for you, what you reflected on, if you had an insight or a strong reaction to it. This is really important for me because this is kind of, you're the audience that this was designed for, and I want to get your feedback on it, and I want to see how it was useful or not useful, and what you learned from it, and how this was different than a different kind of way of processing information about a topic. So once again, if you raise a hand, we'll kind of go around again. You, sir, go ahead.
I know, so I come from a pretty good family, had a good life experience and all this stuff, and I'm a counselor, being a chaplain, and so to see this stuff, like there's one aspect of hearing it in my office, but to see it, it definitely touched the nerve and rattled emotions, it rattled maybe the reality of what's taking place behind the doors, like what those words now mean from a counseling session and how they're played out in reality. And it was pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean, certainly as a therapist, the same thing, you hear a story in an office, and you kind of convey your own image about what actually took place or didn't. Then you see it, and it's a lot more real, isn't it? It's a lot more pointed.
I can actually relate to the scene because, to be quite honest, I've actually lived through it. I mean, 100% verbatim, damn near, except I didn't act the same way Brian did, obviously. And then, me and my wife got help, but it was pretty powerful.
Great, thank you. Yes, sir.
Kind of frustrating because if you know, typically speaking, that these things happen and what types of things are likely to happen if they don't get help, you're able to kind of see the path that it's following. It's like, I know both of you want to get over here where your future is brighter, and you know what to do, you know what to say, you know what they need help with, but they're at home behind their closed doors and you're kind of shut out, and it's frustrating because you can't fix it. And you just got to kind of eat the fact that it's probably just another broken family in the future.
When I interviewed one of the social workers over at the PEP behind WOMAC, she was saying that she tries to educate soldiers and say that the difference between prevention and intervention. And when it got to the point, when he's having his talk with his buddy, he says, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of trapped in this. You're at trying at an intervention level rather than a prevention level, And it's trying, like any problem in life, right? And certainly the NFLEC program is focused on that, is the earlier you can get to it. And she says she addresses commands resistance, especially in the SOCOM community, about having their soldiers go out of this environment, their social environment, to outsiders, is that they're both trying to achieve the same mission. It's the same mission of having soldiers effective at their job and on the job rather than being removed because the problem wasn't addressed and it blew up on them, And so it isn't like they're opposing command that you're like Fred was saying, well, if I'm going to lose my soldier, I can't. I need them on the team. And I've heard stories when I was here at SOCOM about the stress that these guys go under when they lose somebody on the team, and people kind of pick up the slack. Everybody gets punished. There's that kind of feeling, So anyway, another comment or question?
Not to detract from the domestic violence issue at hand, but what Sergeant Major said is absolutely true, and that in this community, thousands and thousands of dollars are spent on an individual to train them and to get them ready to perform our nation's missions. And again, what you were just saying, it's important that we hold on to these guys. Our country has invested in them, and I honestly believe that it's a top-down issue, and if we can help our commanders and our sergeants major understand the importance of the wholeness of an individual, doesn't mean just the training, but that it means taking care of the families as well and helping them be the best at not just their team leader role in relationship to their men, but also to their spouses and their children at home. It's vital. And something SOCOM did several years ago that I think would be worth repeating is sitting down our senior NCOs, our senior officers, and interviewing those who actually sought out behavioral health and just talk about that openly, candidly as they can and are willing to, and then ship that out to the whole team for our guys to see.
Yeah. You know, I was talking to a male social worker at FAPA, Medcom side, and he was a social worker here at Special Forces. So he was really a good resource because, he was on both sides. And they have a program over there. I don't know the name offhand. It's a 6-month program. And it's once again kind of an intervention program, and with men, and the success rate's phenomenal. In 6 month, a long-term program. In the last 5 years, guess how many SOCOM soldiers have been in that program? 0. Not one single one.
6 months
Well, it's a
is a long
6-month
time.
program, I guarantee you that's the problem right there.
Yeah, so, and I don't know how that would work or how it needed to be modified, but.
You wouldn't be on a team at all.
Huh?
You would never be on a team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
okay, well then,
going
so
6
there, once again, this is the other side of it, that there's logistics about it that, prevent people maybe getting the time or because of the way it is. Yeah. Okay, great. Back there, Susan.
A couple things watching this. First was the difference that command makes. I mean, coming from 5th Group, haven't had a whole lot of visibility on cases that have gone to this level, but I know at certainly the 06 level, there's a lot of emphasis on this, kind of the whole of health program. In fact, as part of my job, one of the things I do is make sure that new soldiers to 5th Group get a walk around so they know where the MFLIC is, know where the SARC is, know where Thor 3 is. So there's, from that angle. Then also, when I was on a team, my daughter had a lot of serious medical issues when she was born. Chain of Command was very supportive for that. So she needed a heart surgery at 3 months. Team Sergeant, cut me loose to do that. And then she is out of the hospital, doing well, went on a PMT, deployed. And, after the deployment, Chain of Command remained very supportive. I was about up for a SWIC tour at that time, just so we wouldn't have to switch hospitals or anything. They, put me in for the Equal Opportunity Advisor bullet. So, I mean, my experience with this from the command side was that, top down, it can have a huge influence. And then the other thing that I knew from personal experience was my wife was seeking help with other issues, really resistant to going in. But it wasn't like career thing. It was more, in my opinion, it was like she wanted a specific thing done, wasn't really open to other avenues of intervention. So there was spouse resistance, I felt, on trying to get help and trying to get things resolved from that end.
That's great, thank you for that. Other sharing? You, sir?
Picking on Lisa for I agree with that philosophy of what I call philosophy of ministry. I believe that an individual may be triune in that they're a soldier, they're a husband or a wife, they're a father and a mother. And when I was asking them about how he is as a soldier, there was no doubt that they rated highly on him. He's a great soldier. They both impeccable. So the issue wasn't them about his work. The issue was about their marriage and his parenting. And so on the scale of 1 to 10, I bet you they would say he's a 10 on being a soldier. But on a scale of 1 to 10, where they at in their marriage, where they at in their parenting, that's where the focus needed to be. With respect to Sergeant Major, there was a conflict I caught. One, he got rid of this Staff Sergeant Andrew because he was a dirtbag. But on here, he's saying, look, I want to keep it in-house because we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in training, which I totally agree. So is he has this, a strong family, a strong marriage, strong family makes a stronger army mentality? Because if he does, he's got a big conflict there.
Any comments on that or questions?
Just one more.
Yeah.
Just to speak on what you were saying, I've never had a bad instance when it comes to family as an SF guy. There was a guy who, his wife got brain cancer. The sergeant major just cut him loose for a year. Didn't have to, he'd just call once a week, make sure everything was okay, and that was it. I mean, and that's just one instance. I do think the teammates, the conversation would have went a little different. I mean, because like they said, these are the guys that you stood side by side getting shot at, you know, and would take a bullet for you.
Yeah.
So I think the first conversation would have been a little more like trust, like even if he lied to you, he'd be like, "You sure, man? You good?" "Yeah, I'm good." "Okay." I mean, I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing, I'm just saying that's the thing.
Yeah. A little more, a little pushback about the cover-up stuff, yeah. That makes sense. Yes, sir.
You know, and there's another more subtle team dynamic that seems to happen too, where sometimes a person has to make a choice between, oh, I'm going to spend this time with my family, versus I'm going to spend this time getting together with the team.
Yeah.
And the team members begin to set up almost like, well, you got to choose between them or us. And if they don't choose the team, it's like, I'm going to lose trust in you because you're not choosing, we're not first. And I don't know that you'll have my back when I really need it. And that has some fairly powerful impact.
Okay, good comment. Any reflections on that?
While I agree with that, I take a different mentality, or a different approach rather, because if you're on mission and there's problems in the home, what's his thinking when he's on mission? I'm thinking the opposite. I'm thinking, hey, a stronger marriage and a stronger family.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about what's going on back home. He can focus on the mission.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
This wasn't fun to watch, obviously. I hope most of us did enjoy it. It's great, because I think it's important that we realize that this does happen, but I feel like it's happened a lot more in the past. And I'm not saying it's not happening right now, but I feel like our culture is changing. The fact that we have resilience programs, the fact that we're sitting here today doing this, is a testament to the fact, and then the stories that you've heard about, guys being told to do what they got to do. Because in my mind, a full spectrum warrior, like someone that can handle a war on all fronts, needs to know how to fight a proverbial war at home, right?
Yeah.
And not like the wife is the enemy, right? But like maybe it's yourself that you gotta figure out how I'm going to defeat this foe. And a lot of what we do, they say if you find yourself in a fair fight, you failed the plan. And for Brian, I'm mad at Brian because like he knew that he came from a situation where his father did this stuff.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was one thing I wanted to plan in there was, counseling and therapy. Our families, it's what I call the family curse as a therapist. If our father was stuck with something or a parent, then it's on our lap. And if we don't deal with it, you're going to pass it on to your son. That's a huge thing if you understand the value of therapy. And you're right. When I was working with special forces people, I'd say there's two kinds of courage. There's the courage and two kinds of being a warrior. There's the warrior being the enemy, and then there's your own value. And they require a completely different skill set. To deal with your own internal dragon, you got to be deeply vulnerable. You got to deal with that pain, and you got to deal with it. And I mean, you guys have a crazy job because to go from one extreme to the other, to be asked to go from one extreme to the other, is a very confusing and I think a very, very difficult task to do. But I need to keep the lid on to be physically alive and to protect my people. But when I'm not there, I need to take that lid off with my wife, with my chaplain, with my therapist, and face my demons, face my dragon. That to me is complete courage. That's a complete skill set.
so much about being an operator on MDA is to be part of the community in a lot of ways, right? To integrate. And if you can't integrate with your family, then man, you suck as an operator. In my mind, like you got to understand, like if I can't do this at home and I can't take care of this here, I'm failing my battle buddies because I can't, I can't function
I love the way you
in
said
all
that,
these
man.
areas.
I
And
love the way you
I
said
think a
that.
lot of people, especially warfighters, need to realize, and I think they are realizing this, that the battlefield, like it never ends, if you will, right? If I go home, like was said back there, if I got a
There you go.
and now I know that his mind isn't where it needs to be.
There you go.
As if I were the sergeant major or I were the team buddy or whatever, I'd be like, what are you doing? I don't want you here if you can't figure out stuff at home.
Yeah.
So that mindset, I think, is changing.
That's good
But
leadership.
it has to
Yeah.
keep changing.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, we're kind of running out of time, but I want to express my appreciation for you being here and your participation. And I think it's time for an applause for you guys, for the work that you're doing and for your contribution today. So let's give it to them. I'll be around here through the lunchtime, so if you want to grab me and talk to me about something or any questions.